Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Random Vlogging, where I just talk about stuff because I need to. And today is going to be weird. Um, I'm going to start by explaining kind of what's going on in my life, and I'm going to end by thanking some amazing people that have no idea what they've done or the effect they've had on me. But they have made my life just that tiny bit better, that has made it possible for me to get through some really bad stuff. So I haven't done an update video in a little bit, and some stuff has changed. The events, as I call them, where I have seizure-like convulsions during a panic attack, but they're not seizures. Those happen once a week. No one can tell me why. My doctors can't even tell me what they are, because they're not seizures. They're not panic attacks either, because panic attacks don't cause massive convulsions like that. So a few weeks ago, I had an EEG. It's where they plug a bunch of electrodes to your head, and then you sit in a dark room with your eyes closed for a while. It was not fun because of my agoraphobia and social anxiety disorder and panic disorder and everything. I had panic attack during the procedure. I think I had one of these events during the procedure, which technically is a good thing because they can measure that and hopefully figure out what the hell's going on. But things are bad right now. I've been put on a new medication that has been really, really rough. Which anytime you're put on new meds for mental stuff, the adjustment period is not pleasant. Whether it's antidepressants, anti-anxiety, anything like that, because it's messing with brain chemistry. It's always bad. There isn't a time when it's enjoyable. So they put me, just despite the fact that I don't have seizures, they put me on seizure medication. My psychiatrist did, because literally everything else that could help is either currently damaging my brain or will kill me. All the anti-anxiety meds she would normally prescribe are deadly to me. The one thing that I'm still on for anxiety doesn't actually help with anxiety. It's just addictive, and I've been on it for so long, and I've gone through withdrawal from it once before, so it's dangerous to take me off it. Quite literally, I could die. So we're trying this new med, and it's too early to tell. There have been some positives to it. There have been a lot of negatives to it. I now have migraines. I mean, I've always had migraines, but they generally only happen maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks. This is daily. And my migraines, because I learned to deal with them, because I've had them since I was in the 5th grade. I learned to deal with them, and they normally wouldn't completely take me out. They would just make doing things very difficult. And I could, they could give me an upset stomach, or, make it so I need to be, I have to turn off lights and stuff like that, or I can't be around bright lights. But I could fight through the pain. These I can't. They take me out for hours, if not the whole day. Along with some other symptoms that I'm not going to go into right now. And I purposefully have not looked at what the side effects of the medication I'm on are, so that I don't accidentally give myself symptoms simply because my brain is aware that I could have them. Because my brain does that. And apparently a lot of people do. So anyway, I wanted to kind of explain what's going on, and talk about I have good days, and I have bad days. Good days are like when I made the fighter guide. I was able to get rid of my stutter for a little bit. I wasn't convulsing as much as I was, and I was able to think clearly enough to make the video. It was still very, very, very difficult for me, because a side effect of diazepam and how long I've been on it, along with just my mental state itself, is I can't concentrate or understand things very, very well. And I have daily, a lot of times, multiple times a day, panic attacks that leave me drained, and again, once a week, turn into convulsions that cause me to pull muscles and strike my head on things, and give me headaches and things like that. And now with the new med I'm on, because of the migraines, the convulsions are even more painful, because just the shaking, I don't even have to hit my head on things. The shaking is enough to cause unbelievable pain. So I'm working with 3 doctors, 2 different therapists, and anyone else that will help me. And we're slowly trying to get me better, with varying results. And there's a lot of other stuff that I'm not going to go into as to why certain things are and aren't working, and why I continue to get worse. But the main fact is, I use video games and TV shows and YouTube to control my anxiety. Because when I'm in the middle of a panic attack, all I can focus on is the fact that I feel like I am dying. I feel like I'm suffocating, or I feel like someone's trying to kill me. I'm having issues with derealization, where I feel like the world is broken, or I had one full on break with reality where I was convinced I had crossed into a parallel universe and that I didn't belong there. And it was a very bizarre experience. Anyway, because of my concentration issues, I can't actually watch most new shows because I can't follow what's happening, especially shows that go from one episode to another and kind of build on each other, because I can't remember. By the end of the episode, I can't remember what happened at the beginning or the middle, and so I just get confused and I have to stop watching them. There are a few rare exceptions. I'm most of them because I've been watching them for a long time, or I have background information from before I got this sick that helps me fill in blanks. My long-term memory is a little better than my short term. So I can watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I know tons about Marvel. But the most recent episodes and the most recent season have been very confusing to me because they've been referencing things that don't show up in the comics, or at least ones that I've read. So that's been a little hit or miss. What I have been able to follow for the most part have been Critical Role, and more recently Power Rangers HyperForce on HyperRPG. And I've been trying to get into other RPG shows and things like that, because it's generally a lot of content, and that's my issue, is that I have to keep rewatching old shows and things that I've seen over and over again, simply because it's the only thing that can keep my mind occupied so that I'm not in a constant panic state. And things that I've watched half a dozen to a dozen times before, I can understand what's going on, and therefore my mind can be held. New things I can't watch because I get confused and I forget what's happening. You guys may have noticed in my D&D games, I'm forgetting names, and I'm saying things that don't always make sense, or I'm asking players to look things up or remember things for me. It's because I simply can't remember it, and I wrote this stuff, and it's a blank for me, which is frustrating. But I wanted to spend the last part of this video thanking HyperRPG, and specifically Malika and Cam for writing HyperForce, and Christina and Andre and Peter and Paul and Megan and Yoshi now, spoiler alert, for making a show that's compelling enough and interesting enough and familiar enough to me because of my love of Power Rangers that I can follow it. I can't do that with other RPG shows anymore. I used to watch Dice Camera Action religiously. I can't anymore. I can't make it through an episode because by the middle of it, nothing makes sense. I don't know where they are. I don't understand how they got there. Even Critical Role, the last episode, I don't know what happened. I have no idea because I couldn't concentrate that night because I was having a bad day, and by the time I was able to focus, so many weird things were going on that I have no idea what went on. But for whatever reason, HyperForce, I can. And for a few hours on Tuesday nights, I can relax, kind of. I mean, tonight was not a relaxing night. I won't tell you why if you didn't watch the most recent episode, but it was intense. But it keeps my attention. And right now, that's the only thing keeping me out of the psych ward again. And for those of you that don't know, the psych ward is where this all started. I got committed to a psychiatric hospital. The psychiatrist there told me if I wasn't taking... I told him drugs like SSRIs and SNRIs don't work on me and they do bad things to me because they had tried them almost a decade previously and nothing but bad things had happened to me. And I still have permanent damage from the first time I took medication and SSRIs from undiagnosed then serotonin syndrome. So I told him I don't want to take medication because it does bad things to me. And he told me if I don't take medication, then everyone will think I am lying and that I don't really have anything wrong with me and I'm just doing this for attention. And so I let him talk me into taking an SSRI that should have killed me. The only reason it didn't was I didn't follow his dosing instructions because he wanted me to increase my dosage after a set amount of time, and because of the bad results I was having, I chose not to increase my dosage and talk to my regular doctor who diagnosed me with serotonin syndrome and put me on diazepam to save my life because I was in a very, very, very dangerous place. So staying out of the psych ward is very important to me. I have very bad memories of it. And right now, shows like HyperForce are helping me. And I know that's not what they're for. I know that Malika didn't create this system, and that she and Cam are not writing this to keep me out of a psych ward. And it probably makes them a little bit uncomfortable to hear that it is one of the things that is keeping me out. But it is. It's having a profound impact on my life. And I've said it before, and every time something like this happens, I feel the need to say it again and again. You cannot understand the impact you have on other people. You can't. HyperRPG makes a Power Rangers show because they are fans and because they are a business. Not because they want to keep me out of a psych ward, but due to the fact that they've created this show that, for whatever reason, when other things don't work, this does. It keeps my attention, and it helps me to deal with my constant panic attacks. And it keeps me grounded when I'm dissociating. And there's not a whole lot out there that does that right now. So I just wanted to say thank you to Zach for HyperRPG in general over the past, I think it's 2 years now. I have, there have been a couple shows on there that have been instrumental in keeping me grounded. And this is the latest, and it is my absolute favorite show they have ever done. And none of that would have happened without Zach. And then I also want to thank Malika for creating a really cool system and an amazing game, and Cam for helping write it. And if I get people's names wrong, I'm very, very sorry. Again, I have a hard enough time remembering my own name. So forgive me. And then I also wanted to thank Peter and Christina and Andre and Paul and Megan and Yoshi for playing the game and investing so much time, not only in their characters, but in the community. And I specifically want to single out Peter, because he has done so much to make me personally, and I'm sure there are other people that agree with this sentiment, feel welcome and feel accepted and feel inspired and motivated by him, not only on HyperForce, but on Ruining Siddharth's Legacies on Friday, where he plays Legacy Wars with fans. And I've played him, and I beat you once, Peter. So there, I beat a Power Ranger at being a Power Ranger. I've lost a lot more than I've won against him, but I won once, and it was cool. Again, you guys can't know what you're doing You can't. Stuff like this doesn't cross your mind. And that's why I feel the need to put it out there that you guys, whether or not you get a second season, whether or not you guys ever do any of this stuff again, you have had a profound impact on me. And there are more people out there, probably with similar stories, probably some people that have it worse than me, probably some people that have it better, but you guys are affecting the world in a positive way. You really are. And you should be proud no matter what happens. That being said, I want season 2 of this show. Again, it is useful to me, so I have personal reasons. But it's an amazing show, and I want to see it continue. Though, Malika, if you keep pulling shit like you did tonight, you and I are going to have words. Or rather, I will have words, and you will probably never hear them. So with that being said, for any of you guys that watch my content, that enjoy anything that I make, whether it's my comprehensive D&D guides or stuff like this, or my singing stuff, or anything, if you have never gone and checked out HyperRPG, you need to. It is an amazing fan-supported channel on Twitch, and it makes phenomenal content. And specifically, I need you guys, there are only 3 episodes left, I think, of HyperForce. I need you guys Tuesdays at... I have to look now. I have an alarm set up because I can't tell the passage of time anymore. It's a fun part of dissociation is I don't get to... Time doesn't seem real to me. It's great. So 6 o'clock Pacific time on Tuesdays. Go to twitch.tv/hyperrpg. Watch HyperForce live. It's important. It's how they convince sponsors to sponsor them. It's how they convince Saban that this is a good thing for them. Subscribe to HyperRPG. That's how they pay their actors. And they are one of the few channels out there that really prides themselves in making sure that they pay everyone there a fair wage. And I know this specifically because I have had conversations with Zach, and he has said so publicly that that is a very important thing to them. So they deserve to be rewarded for doing the right thing and paying people the right way and treating people the right way and creating amazing content like they do. So request from me, if you can, please tune in for the next 3 weeks. I know I have a tiny audience, but every view counts, every sub counts, every donation counts for something. So please, for the next 3 weeks at 6 p.m. Pacific time, turn on HyperForce. It's twitch.tv/hyperrpg. There might be an underscore in there. I don't know. I'll find out real quick here for you. No, it's just twitch.tv/hyperrpg. Go sub to them, follow them, and Zordon's calling me on Tuesday nights, watch HyperForce. Even if you're not familiar with it, if you're not caught up, watch it live. It means a lot. It affects them greatly. And again, if any of you guys are watching this, thank you, Zach and Malika and Cam and Peter and Christina and Andre and Paul and Megan. You guys are amazing. Yeah. So that's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.